Okay, so the Payday 3 ARG has begun. The secret folder on the Dragan files has opened up again and is now accepting passwords. So what is the new password? Well, just like the main password for the Dragan files, which is Golden Taste if you've forgotten, this new password can also be found on the Gateway Report website, but this time it isn't so obvious. There are two new advertisements on the website, one that contains a poem and the other a short paragraph with some rather interesting additional letters. We'll start off with the poem in the first advertisement titled Secrets Abound. The hoard of a dragon ransacked, yet it's the other man's treasure that holds the how and why. Not all is what it seems, only from the failures will he know the way. Hidden in plain sight, obvious yet not, a lesson learned, mistakes of the past rectified. Our errors call, but heed this cue. Ignore the words that feel too true. Mistakes mask the villain's art, but genuine slips will play their part. When all is gathered, you will see a word revealed, your next decree. And this poem is attributed to V. Pike, who might become an important character in the future. We honestly have no way to tell. Before moving on, there's a few sentences that I wanted to highlight from this. Specifically, hidden in plain sight, obvious yet not. Ignore the words that feel too true. And when all is gathered, you will see a new word revealed. With those sentences in mind, let's move on to the second ad, which isn't exactly written in clear English. Some of it is, but some of it isn't. So if we think back to the poem we've just read and ignore the words that feel too true, in this case meaning all of the words that are in plain English, and then we remember that when gathered, you will see a new word revealed, so we gather all of these words together and remove any punctuation from in between them, we should see a new word, but we don't. So what next? Well, this isn't exactly a new word, but instead this is ciphertext. To figure out exactly which type of cipher this text has been encrypted with, we can take a look at the bold paragraph underneath it. To succeed, align with the Emperor and rotate wisely to reveal the truth. We've got references to an emperor and the mention of rotation, so this is quite clearly a Caesar cipher, and more specifically an ROT13 cipher. To decipher this simple substitution cipher, we've got to take each letter of the ciphertext and replace it with the letter that is exactly 13 letters after it in the alphabet. So A is N, B is O, C is P, and so on. Running our ciphertext through this decryption method and adding a couple of letters that seem to be missing, we're left with the plain text, "The best revenge is to not be like your enemy." A rather famous quote from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. And there we have it, our word revealed. But of course, it doesn't take a scientist to work out that this isn't a word, it's a sentence and a name. So let's remind ourselves of exactly what it is we're looking for here, a password. Now that clue makes a little bit more sense. This is our password. Not the actual sentence that we just decrypted, but instead the name. Entering Marcus Aurelius as the password to the secret folder on the Dragan files takes us to a page with 3 encrypted folders, one of which is scheduled to be decrypted at 11 AM CEST on the 27th of December. And you can be sure that I will be live streaming when this file is decrypted. So make sure that you're subscribed or following me over on Twitch to keep up to date with this ARG as it progresses. I am indescribably excited to see how this ARG progresses, because a few weeks ago with the release of Dev Update 10, I mentioned that I didn't think the statue we were shown in the ARG related glitched footage was Duke. Even though a lot of others thought this was a potential redesign for the character, I suggested that it was some sort of historical figure, and all you have to do is look at a few statues of Marcus Aurelius to figure out that the image we were shown is most likely a statue of the Roman Emperor. I think this is an incredibly intriguing direction for the secret to be headed in, and I honestly can't wait to see what comes next. While quite unlikely, I really hope that the folder we're going to be getting access to on Friday contains some complicated puzzles for us to solve over the next few weeks while we won't be getting any content. You may or may not be aware that you can actually complete the first step of the original Overdrill in Payday 3's iteration of First World Bank. For now, this is where the Easter egg ends, but just imagine if on Friday we're given the means to figure out a potential next step. Again, I want to keep expectations realistic and say this is very unlikely, but oh, could you just imagine? I know Starbreeze have said that the secret isn't coming until 2025, and I imagine that there'll be a lot more fanfare around that when it does release, but if we consider just how long it might take for all 3 of these files to decrypt, then I think it's possible that whatever we receive on Friday takes us to something in-game. Look, as I said, I don't want to set expectations too high, but regardless of what happens on Friday, the secret has begun, and I'm going to be here covering it every step of the way. During my video on Dev Update 10, I speculated a lot about what we were shown in relation to the secret, and what that could mean for the future of Payday 3's narrative. So if you're interested in my thoughts on that, you can click the video on screen now and skip to about the halfway point to hear what I had to say. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.